Hey everyone, it's Dominic, the Primetime Treasure Hunter. Welcome back to another video. I have got a huge potential score to go check out after work today. That's the reason you see me all dressed up. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about it. I'm gonna turn on the computer and show you what I'm talking about, and then we're gonna head out about an hour and a half to check out this score. If I pick this up, it could be absolutely huge. So let me tell you a little bit more about it. Okay, well, as you can see here, this is my comic book ad that I have on Craigslist. This is what I post searching for inventory. It's a great way to source and get access to unique deals that no one else is going to be able to get because the person selling it just reaches out to you. And while you see my ad is focused on comic books and it's very colorful and big and bold to get attention, you can see here I also make mention of lots of other things I'm looking for, so it comes up in search. Now, a lot of times when I get responses to this, it's a lot of junk and stuff that's not valuable. But every once in a while, I get a response that looks very, very promising. And I'm going to show you the response I got. I can't show you the actual full email because the person put their phone number in it and stuff, so I don't want to show that. But this is the main meat of it. Hi, we have a very large collection of comic books to get rid of, mostly 80s, 90s, and 2000s, some 70s. We need to get rid of them all. I love hearing that. When you hear that, that is just something huge. I absolutely love to hear that if we can. So they sound desperate to get rid of it. They left a phone number. I called them. I'm going to fill you in on that in a moment, but I've got to get to the car so that we could start making this road trip. Okay, so that email that I just showed you, I received it on a Sunday. I called them back immediately as soon as I got it. That is very important. You do not want to waste time because they will move on to try to find somebody else if they do not hear back. So jump right on it as soon as possible. So that's what I did. We had a nice friendly conversation, which is also a good sign. This wound up being a storage unit acquisition that they obtained, and they don't know anything about comic books, and so they just want to get rid of it because it's taking up too much space. Perfect. This is exactly how you wind up getting hauls like this. Now, as I'm talking to them on the phone, they're telling me other things that are included in this. There's Dungeons and Dragons books, which that could be a huge score if that's there, and all sorts of other things, role-playing games. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. So I asked questions about condition. There are some things that are damaged. That's to be expected in a big lot like this, but it's taking up a big section of their garage plus their house. I had to try to figure out logistics in terms of how I would even get this to where I am because, you know, I do have, you know, a pretty big size trunk here in my Subaru Outback, but I do not have like a big truck that I could drive over there. So what we're going to see if we can do is if this deal works out, I'll probably take half of it back today and pay for half of it and then maybe come back tomorrow or this weekend for the rest of it. Another option, if it's just too big and I can't even do it in 2 loads in this car, is they said that they have access to Enterprise. The person's wife, guy's wife I was speaking to, works for Enterprise, and they could just deliver it. But I'd like to avoid the delivery charge if I could. So now, in terms of price, that's very important. You want to discuss price right now. You don't want to get there and then they tell you they want $5,000 for everything. It's a complete waste of time. Given the amount of volume they said they have, which is like 20, 30 boxes worth of stuff, I asked them how much they wanted and they threw out a price of around $300. And that just is music to my ears because that price is great. If the condition is okay. Now, I know there's going to be some things that are damaged. The key to me is how much of it is damaged. And is there enough in there that I could justify picking up all this material so I could resell and make a huge profit off it? Not just a little profit. I mean, this has to be a huge score. I checked out some of the items that he sent me pictures of and looked them up, and they resell very well. So I have to lay eyes on it. It would be foolish of me to make this order just not sight seen. I have to be there at the site, so I have to take a risk. It's going to be a few hours out of my day, like 3 hours total, driving there, driving back. But that's what you have to do sometimes to try to make these big scores. I've done it before. Fortunately, it's worked out. Hopefully this one will. It could wind up being a big fail, but you know, who knows. We're gonna go out, check it out. I'll see if I could turn the camera on. I'm not sure, but either way, I'll get back to you and let you know what happened, of course. All right, so I'm just a few minutes away. Fortunately, there's a little mini marketplace I was able to stop off at, because you want to make sure when you go look at these big collections that you could concentrate. And if I have to go to the bathroom, and if I'm hungry, and if I'm thirsty and all that stuff, I'm going to make bad decisions, and you don't want that. So fortunately, went in there, got a nice slice of pizza here, so going to have some of that. Definitely hits the spot. Got a little Mountain Dew here. Give me a little energy. Dedicate that to Noel Griffiths, who's probably watching this. And head over there in just a moment. So we'll see what happens. All right, so just pointing out a few things. These are some dragons made out of driftwood that are pretty cool. A bunch of comic books are already laid out. There's some older stuff like this, and some bigger dragons. Darth Vader, picture frame. She likes picture frames.
Well, it's got the limited edition.
Yeah, that's cool. There's some under here, some boxes. These are boxes of like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. You could see there's like Ravenloft. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. Some of them are in these little sets and stuff. There's some that have obvious damage on them, but there's others that are in better shape. So I'll take a little look here later. You could just see there's like a whole tub of it. So and there's a bunch there too. There's just a lot of things down there, so that's good. There's some stuff over here too, which these are strategy guides. And there's just some Dragonlance down there. There's just like a lot of these role-playing game types of things. There's some, these DVDs are part of it too, right? There's DVDs here, some like Japanese anime ones you were talking about.
Yes.
So we've got that. This part here, this box, is that part of it also? Or is that different?
No, that's different.
That's different. Okay, so that's not part of it. There's some stuff over here too laid out on the table. Some stuff down here on the floor. There's some coverless comics too. A lot of stuff is newer. There's some older stuff like this Thor. There's this Thor 144, but it's severely damaged. But you know, there's some other things here, like this is a 15-cent books, but you could see there's a lot of damage on the spine. But then again, there's some newer books, and you know, decent shape, but they are newer, so they should be in decent shape. A lot of Punisher and stuff. A lot of other books here as well, more along the lines of these role-playing game types of books. There's some more of them here as well in this tub. There's just a lot of them there, a lot. And there's a bunch here too. Marvel Encyclopedia. So it's like a mix of things in terms of damage. Some are damaged, some aren't. There's a whole bunch of them here. These are some comic books, some Star Wars, a lot of trade paperbacks, Tomb of Dracula. There's a whole nother box here. So you can see the box is pretty beat up, and so usually that means that the contents inside are somewhat beat up in there too. But there's a lot of stuff in there. Some things probably have covers ripped off, but there's advanced D&D there, so that's good. Anything Dungeons and Dragons I like to see. But like, you know, there's like this one here.
can't do anything with because there's no cover on the front or the back. But there's plenty that do have the cover on it, like this one over here. So, you know, and this one's in decent shape. So that's what's just gonna happen when you buy these lots. There's things that are damaged and things that aren't. That's just part of it. And then there's some, is this part of it too, this Wolfman thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so this came with it too.
I think it's his son signed it.
Yeah, because the original is Lon Chaney.
Right.
So then we got Lon Chaney Jr., some art tributes here. Some
you got the-
Frank Sinatra.
Kinda-
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Got a little thing here.
Those got damaged.
Which got damaged?
Those.
Oh, those are damaged ones? Okay.
But
And then we've got this whole selection over here. These CDs, are these part of it or no? Is that different?
no,
That's different. But what about this here?
no.
That's not it. So nothing up on this ledge.
No.
Okay. So then it's just this other stuff down here. Okay. So this is all comics.
Yeah.
It's all comics. Just boxes and boxes of comic books. Some got what? Some damage on it.
They got full.
Oh, yeah, so this stuff like over here, they're curved. A lot of, yeah, see, right. So this often means moisture exposure when they curl like that. And so you can't do anything with those books. I mean, some of them, if they're mildly curled, you could put them in a bag and a board and you could flatten them a bit. Like here, like just the spines are a little bit curved and you could maybe straighten those out over time. But yeah, you know, ideally you want to store them in these bags and boards like this because then you could, you know, then you keep them nice and flat and they won't bend like that. But so,
We didn't do it.
yeah, no, I know it's not you, I know. So wow, there's a lot of stuff here. All came out of one storage unit, huh?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, just show some more stuff here. There's a bunch of these trade paperbacks here that are good. In terms of titles, hey, little buddy, what's his name?
Bandit.
Bandit, hey, Bandit. My wife loves dogs too, so she'll love to see Bandit. She'll love to see Bandit. And let's see here. We've got some Vampirella, which is a good title, so that's nice. It's all right, buddy. You want to be my helper? I'm gonna tell Daisy about you. I'm gonna tell my dog Daisy about you. All right, so yeah, so there's these DVDs that are also part of it. I didn't realize that. So there's a lot of anime in here, and there's 2 tubs that look all the way
Bandit.
filled with it. So there's just a lot. So
The bottoms are
yeah,
regular
it's
movies.
not it's not all anime, but a lot of it is.
You wanna see
Yeah. Okay, so the one down there.
That's
These
all-
are regular movies.
They're all regular movies.
Okay.
Horror movies and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's a lot of horror movies. So
And they're all,
yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. All right. Hey guys, I bought it. Everything for $450. Absolute steal. The $300 that they quoted me was just for the comic books. So this is every single thing for $450. Let me show you. So as you can see, the Primetime Treasure Mobile is absolutely packed. I mean, it is insane. It's crazy. I mean, everywhere. I've got this thing filled to the max, including the front. Other side as well, just so you could see. I mean, it's just crazy. This whole thing, totally filled. So this is just amazing. This is definitely one of my best scores, and I am excited to start listing this stuff. Finally, some sign of civilization. I didn't tell you this before, but I was really in like the middle of nowhere in Candor, New York, which is near Ithaca, New York. So that's 80 miles south of Syracuse. And if you're not from this area, I mean, while Syracuse is a small city with a downtown and buildings and stuff like that, once you get outside of Syracuse, everything is pretty much a rural area. I mean, there's some suburbs and stuff like that, but once you keep getting out and out and out, you wouldn't maybe think that if you're not from New York. You might think everything's like New York City. It's not like that. So a lot of farmland and stuff like that. So this wasn't even also just like right off the highway. Like a lot of times you go on like Interstate 90 or Interstate 81 and it takes you right off to an exit, and then maybe there's like some side roads there. This is like more than half the trip is winding side roads in 15-degree weather. I timed it for this day so that there would be no snow, because that would have made it 10 times worse. But getting back, had to be real careful, because you look at this car, I mean, it is just packed pretty much to the max. I mean, there's stuff over here too. So I've got to be real careful that, you know, I don't take a turn too fast, because a lot of places there's no guardrail, so you would fly off if you took the turn wrong. And you got to be careful too. People start tailgating you, and I'm not going to speed when I have all this stuff in the car. So, you know, you got to be okay with just letting people pass you by and stuff. You know, it's just how it is. So I stopped off at this KFC. No advertisement for them, really. I mean, I guess it is, but you know, it's not really planned out that way. But I'm just telling you, because, you know, when you're driving around and you need these like little places to stop off and get something to eat, KFC's Chicken Littles, I highly recommend them. They're like 2 for $3 and they're great. They're really filling. So that pizza was perfect for like right before. But you know, and that little Mountain Dew, I mean, that just kept me like able to think clearly and stuff. But now I'm on the way back, like I'm, you know, getting hungry again. So a little place to stop off. Highly recommend it. I, believe it or not, I don't eat like tons of fast food, but I use these little trips as like excuses to do it when I go out. So it's just one of the places that I like to go is KFC sometime when they have these little sandwich deals. So anyway, got about 45 minutes left to get back. So I'll probably turn the camera on one more time to do a little wrap up for tonight. All right, everyone. Well, I am finally back home to Primetime Treasure headquarters. An issue is going to be how I'm going to store this, because I just have a lot of stuff inside Primetime Treasure headquarters. So we're going to have to use some garage space for this temporarily. I'm going to show you why this snow out here poses a problem for storage inside of the garage sometimes. Okay, so this is the issue, is that when you bring the cars into the garage, it brings in the snow on the tires, and so it gets everything wet. So what I'm gonna do is probably put some stuff right here in this dry area, and I'm gonna go out tomorrow and I'm gonna get some pallets. There's a place here that gives away free pallets all the time. So I'll just line some pallets up here, and I'm gonna be storing this stuff right over in this area, and then we could process it from there. And that's going to be the approach for now. All right, well, I just did some reorganizing. There were a bunch of boxes that were lined up all the way back here. And so I got rid of all those. I opened up this chest, which I have been basically fumigating with coffee grinds, because there was all of a mothball type of scent in it when I picked it up. And now it smells good, but it smells like coffee. So I got to let that air out. And I'm gonna bring the Primetime Treasure Mobile in. I don't wanna leave it outside overnight. I'm gonna take some boxes out and just store it back here. So I'm gonna back up just to take a little weight off of there. And then tomorrow I'll come up with a more firm plan on what we're gonna do to store this stuff. Possibly getting the pallets. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what we have to do exactly, but you know, it's kind of a work in progress, so I'll keep you updated. Let's just do a little wrap up so I could talk to you about some key points and key takeaways from today. All right, everyone, it's 5:30 in the morning. I took a bunch of boxes out of my car and lined it up across the back in the garage here at Primetime Treasure headquarters. And I'm definitely going to have to go out later this morning and pick up some pallets and put it in the garage so I could store. There's just so much stuff. It's just crazy. And that's why they wanted to get rid of it. There's just so much of it. They were overwhelmed by it. It was consuming their house, as you could see. They even had some stuff that I didn't show you that was in the hallway, because they said they just didn't want to bring any more of it in. So definitely, I think we're gonna have to have some future videos in which I start unboxing some of that stuff and show it to you in more specific detail, but you're able to get a good general sense of it. So let me fill you in a little bit more on the backstory of how that collection was obtained.
I told you that it was from a storage unit, and that's why I'm calling this video a storage unit haul, even though I didn't directly go to the storage unit. It's as close as you can get to it because they just purchased this about a week or so ago. And they had no idea, they bought it online, they had no idea what was inside of it. They just started doing this, by the way. They're completely new into buying storage units. And when they obtained it, they opened up all these boxes and all these, tubbies, and they found all these comic books and collectibles and Dungeons and Dragons stuff. And they don't know anything about it, and they didn't know what to do with it. And so when they got back home, they went right onto Craigslist and they typed in comic books. They told me this. They typed in comic books and they saw my ad. They said it jumped out at them, and that's what led them to reach out. Now, I have a lot of people emailing me ever since I've been showing more about how well I've been doing with these comic collections and asking me, should I purchase this? Should I purchase that? And I don't mind those types of emails at all. Let me know, and I'm more than willing to help you out. I actually find the ads interesting, and I like helping. But I want to make sure I emphasize the point that it is tough. It is hard to obtain a collection like this. Like you see the collection behind me there, that one was tough to obtain too. So they come every once in a while, maybe one a year, maybe a few a year. It takes a lot of sifting through bad deals to get the deal that's really awesome. After all, think about it. If every single one of them was an amazing deal and if it was that easy, everyone would go out and pick these up. And you're going to see ads for comic book collections frequently on Craigslist. They're generally ripoffs. Again, I've said this before, but in general, what you want to do for a bulk lot collection like this is you want to wind up paying approximately 15 cents per book. You could pay less, you could pay more. You start off with your negotiations lower than 15 cents, so somewhere between 10 and 12, whatever that number would be. So let's say it was 2,500 comic books. You'd want to start your negotiations somewhere around 3,000, given that you have some idea what's in there and that it's good. You don't want to spend that money if it's all junk and it's all trash. So you've got to have a sense of that, and I have videos in my YouTube channel right under the playlist section. Just go to comic books and you'll see that right there. So there's a whole bunch of tutorials and things like that. And haul videos in which you could pick up some information about what type of comic books are good to get, what sorts of titles, things to look for, that sort of thing. Condition plays an important role. So I'd start off around 300 and negotiate upwards from there and not pay more than 500 because that would be 20 cents per book, unless you really have knowledge about what's in there and that it's amazing and that it's awesome and that there's issues in there that could be worth hundreds and thousands of dollars. Then obviously you pay up. So that's going to take some experience and some knowledge and reading and watching comic haul videos. There's a ton of them out there. I'm not the only one who does those, so go just type that into YouTube and you'll see a lot of people who do that, mostly in the comic book community, not in the reselling community. Even though they are resellers, comic book people don't generally consider themselves resellers, even though they are. They're kind of in their own separate area. So I've kind of tried to bring that over into the reselling community. I hope that's helpful. So now you can pick these types of collections up from collectors. These people obviously weren't collectors. They're complete novices. They don't know anything about the collection. You can get them from collectors. The collection you see behind me, I did get, that's over 4,000 comics. I did get it from a collector, but he was moving and he was just desperate to get rid of it and liquidate it, and he just had to move it. And that's what you want. That's how you're going to get collections that are like that. People who really need cash, people who really need space, or some combination of the two, or people who obtain things like this nice couple, and it's in a storage locker, and they have no need for it, and they just want to flip it. And they're happy, by the way, to make the $450. I don't know what they invested in the unit, but for them, they just made quick, easy money for them. And if I make a lot of money off it, they're happy too, because it works out for both of us. So Overall, you know, I'm very happy with the situation. The main issue for me right now is space, and that's an issue that a lot of resellers deal with. So I'm gonna have to be very creative and very organized in terms of how I keep all this stuff so it doesn't overwhelm my living space. So I'm just gonna keep the car outside of the garage for a little bit while I hopefully temporarily keep this stuff in the garage and start processing it and try to start getting these getting this stuff listed and start getting my money back as quick as possible. That's an important goal. The other thing and the last thing I really just want to mention is that, you know, this is what hustling is all about. We talk about hustling, we talk about hard work. I'm doing this YouTube video here 5:30 in the morning. You saw me start off yesterday morning, you know, ready to go out. I took the risk of driving 80 minutes away. You know, I'm driving back with this whole entire carload worth of stuff, and, you know, 15-degree weather on, you know, cold, narrow, twisty, turny, dark roads and everything, which really actually, it took me about 2 hours, 15 minutes to get home, because I just took it really slow during that first 45 minutes down all those roads. Because the last thing I wanted to do is fly off the side of the road and, you know, be there stuck with all my comics and can't get out. So, but fortunately it wasn't actively snowing. That would have made it much worse. So, you know, then when I came home, of course, I had 6 orders that I had to process and get those together. I have accounting that I have to do regarding expenses from the trip, so I have to document and log all of that. I've got to prepare for a work day today. I've got a lot of stuff going on in the Facebook group. We just hit, by the way, 7,000 members. 7,000 members in the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. So go check that out. The link is down below. We're supposed to have our Sellers Supporting Sellers-thon today, so hopefully I can get that together. There's just a lot going on, but that's the point. If you want to do this and really do it hardcore, you know, there's just going to be a lot of days where, you know, you're really grinding, you're really working, especially if you have a full-time job and a family. I mean, I got a couple of hours of sleep and woke up and just got out of the shower just to refresh because, you know I've got a whole day ahead of me I have to tackle here. So, so there you go. I told you about a bathroom visit, a shower, and you've got my dieting habits too. So you've pretty much got everything all in this video. Probably too much information, but you know, I'm just trying to keep it real and just let you guys know what it's like, you know, doing this when you get these big hauls. You got to act on them fast and just try to get them as soon as possible, but on a day that makes sense. You know, I say get it as fast as possible, but you don't want to put yourself in a situation where, you know, you're stuck in a big storm or something like that and you can't get out. So, you know, provided you account for that, just stay safe and, you know, try to get it as soon as possible before someone else grabs it. I was just listening to Wade from Wade's Ventures earlier tonight. He was talking about that with storage units, that when you purchase a storage unit and you put your deposit down, it's technically not yours. If you buy them online, it's technically not yours until you actually go and pick it up and pay for the whole thing. The original owner still has a chance to go in there and reclaim what's theirs. And so keep that in mind if you're buying storage units online. The people who sold me this storage unit, they bought it online. So they, again, had no clue what they were getting. And I always wanted to actually go and buy a storage unit, and this is the closest I could get. And in many ways, it's actually an easier way to do it because I didn't have to take any risk or any gamble whatsoever except the drive down here, but even that was based on information I knew there were comics. I mean, they bought it completely blindly and had no idea what was in there. So good for them because they, you know, they got it, they must have got it for a really low price. For all I know, they got it for $50 and they made $400 off me, but that's great. I'm going to take that and I'm going to make many, many thousands of dollars off of this collection. So I've got to start getting a lot of things going to start the day. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below, give it a thumbs up, Subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 3,000 members in this group. I want to hit that real soon. So, and come by the Facebook group. Remember, 7,000 people and more. It's growing really fast. We're going to do a giveaway there, so you don't want to miss that. So make sure you join, and I'll see everyone at the next video, everyone. Take care.